The April 8th ceasefire held for 2 months. This morning, Iran fired missiles at northern Israel, and Israel struck inside Iran, the first mutual territorial exchange since April, per the BBC. This is Iran War Daily. Today, the ceasefire breaks in the most direct way possible, while the president says a deal is very close.
Very close. Missiles in the air over northern Israel, and somebody at the White House is telling NBC the paperwork's almost done.
We've got a named Israeli target, a hard CENTCOM shipping number, and a new sanctions relief mechanism straight from Trump. Let's take them in order, Rich. Start with the strike. CNA, citing Israel's military and Iranian local media, says Israel hit a petrochemical company in Mashhad, in southwestern Iran.
Petrochemical. That's export revenue infrastructure. Not a radar site, not a missile pad. Israel went for Iran's money.
And notice the split in the sourcing. Israel's military confirming the operation, Iranian local media reporting the impact. Two sides, same target, and they're describing the same place.
Now put that next to CENTCOM. 132 commercial vessels redirected, 6 disabled under the blockade. That's Iran International citing CENTCOM. Same revenue stream the blockade already cut to a 6-year low. It's the same squeeze from both ends. The strait slows the ships, and the airstrike hits the plant that fills them.
And that 132 figure matters because it's the first aggregate count with a named source. It moves us past the eased versus not eased argument we were stuck in last week. The blockade is documented as active at scale.
That's the part that makes very close sound detached. You don't disable 6 ships and quantify the chokehold the same week you sign anything.
On the deal itself, Trump told NBC frozen assets won't be unfrozen immediately. His words, only after Iran behaves, with U.S. equipment used to remove and verify.
So Tehran gives up Hormuz, gives up the missiles, and then waits in line for money that was already theirs. After it behaves.
It's the same position Rubio gave the committee, nothing up front. The difference today is that it's the president on the record, with a sequencing mechanism attached.
Same line, harder edge. And remember Tehran's opening was pay us 4 times what you cost us. Now there's a public zero upfront answer. On the morning missiles are flying.
So keep these as 2 separate tracks. The battlefield ruptured today, and the diplomatic line from Washington got more specific. Both are true, both are sourced.
I'll believe the deal track when an underwriter does. Right now, the shipping desks are pricing the war, not the press release.
From Charlotte Hadfield at BBC News.
Israel has carried out airstrikes in western and central Iran after Iran fired missiles at northern Israel. It's the first time Iran and Israel have launched attacks at each other's territory since the ceasefire came into force 2 months ago. How we got here. Fresh explosions are heard in Tehran. Earlier, Israel said dozens of its fighter jets completed strikes on Iranian defense systems.
Here's the hard fact, sourced to BBC. Iran fired missiles at northern Israel, and Israel struck western and central Iran. First mutual territorial exchange since the April 8th ceasefire. 2 months it held. Today, it didn't.
2 months, and the chain is right there. Israel hits Beirut Sunday. Iran fires at Israel. Israel goes back into Iran. Tit for tat all the way down. And somebody's still telling Netanyahu not to retaliate.
On that, per the BBC, Trump said Sunday he was going to call Netanyahu and tell him not to hit back. That call, whatever happened on it, did not land.
And Iran's own framing is the part nobody should skip. They're calling this the beginning of a full week of continuous strikes. They're presenting it as a schedule, not a one-off.
Though I'd treat that as Tehran's claim, not a forecast. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Baghai also said today the message channel with Washington had not stopped. So the talking and the shooting are both live, from the same podium.
Here's Iran International.
U.S. Central Command said on Sunday its forces had redirected 132 commercial vessels and disabled 6 others while enforcing the U.S. blockade against Iran. CENTCOM released an image showing an officer aboard the guided missile destroyer USS Michael Murphy while observing a merchant vessel in the Arabian Sea.
132 ships redirected, 6 disabled. That's CENTCOM's own number on the record. The blockade has moved past threats. CENTCOM's publishing an operational tally.
Sunday, CENTCOM, via Iran International, first time we've had an aggregate figure with a named source attached. Before this, it was eased versus not eased. Now there's a count.
And the vessel they photographed it from, the USS Michael Murphy, a guided missile destroyer in the Arabian Sea. That's the war risk underwriter's nightmare on a postcard. Hormuz Insurance gets priced off exactly this.
Same day, an Iranian lawmaker tells Didban that America's military balloon burst with one needle. The 132 redirected ships say otherwise, but that's the line Tehran's running domestically.
One needle, 6 disabled hulls. Sure. And right after we just heard Iran put missiles into northern Israel for the first time since April. So somebody's balloon is doing fine.
From Yahoo News.
President Trump said Sunday that the United States and Iran were very close to a deal to end the 3-month war between them, and said Tehran had agreed in principle to give up its pursuit of a nuclear weapon. "We're very close," Trump told Kristen Welker on NBC's Meet the Press. "They've conceded the fact that they will not have nuclear weapons."
Trump told Kristen Welker on Meet the Press Sunday that the U.S. and Iran are, quote, very close, and that Tehran has conceded it will not have nuclear weapons. That's the president, on the record on NBC.
Very close. On the same morning, Iran fired missiles at northern Israel, and Israel hit western Iran. Somebody explain to me what close means when both sides are putting ordnance on each other's territory.
And here's the tension. Iran's own Tasnim agency said Monday Tehran was halting the back channel over ceasefire violations. So Trump's framing directly contradicts where Iran publicly left the table.
Right. Tehran says talks are off, Arachi says U.S. bases are legitimate targets, and the president comes out claiming they've conceded the nuclear point. One of these readings is detached from the room.
Let's separate this cleanly. The concession in principle on weapons is Trump's characterization. We have no Iranian confirmation of that today. That's his account of what Tehran has agreed to, not Tehran's.
And what he's calling nearly done is the thing Iran said it walked away from. Either he knows something the missiles don't, or very close is negotiating noise over a war.
From Iran International.
U.S. President Donald Trump said any new agreement with Iran would not immediately unfreeze Tehran's assets, telling NBC News that sanctions relief would come only after Iran changed its behavior. That comes after, Trump said in an interview with NBC News. Yeah, if they behave, if they do a good job, we start talking.
So the terms are out. Tehran gives up the strait, gives up the missiles, gives up the nuclear material. And the money that was already theirs comes back. Only if they behave. That's the offer, on the record from Trump's own mouth.
The exact wording to NBC. That comes after, if they behave. If they do a good job, we start talking. Note the sequence. Relief is the reward, not the entry ticket. That's Rubio's nothing up front line, but now from the president himself.
And remember, Tehran's opening number was, pay us 4 times what you've cost us, then we'll discuss trust. $24 billion meets a public zero up front. Those two positions are now on the same record. Same day, Iran's firing missiles at northern Israel.
There's also a mechanism we should name precisely. Trump says U.S. equipment removes and destroys the nuclear material, on-site or off-site. That's a verification and disposal detail we hadn't heard from him directly before.
From Channel News Asia.
Tehran. Israel and Iran traded fire on Monday, June 8th, seriously testing a fragile truce and threatening hopes for a deal to end the Middle East war. Iran said it had struck Israel's Nevatim and Tel Nof air bases as the two sides exchanged strikes in the largest flare-up in fighting since a ceasefire took effect in April.
Here's the sequence. Per CNA, Israel's military and Iranian local media both confirm a strike on a petrochemical company in Mashhad, southwestern Iran, and it came hours after Trump publicly asked Israel to refrain from retaliating.
Mashhad isn't a radar dish or a missile pad. That's a petrochemical complex. Israel just hit Iran's export revenue on the physical side. The same day CENTCOM tells us 132 ships have already been redirected. 2 vices, 1 body.
And note who's claiming what. Iran says it hit the Nevatim and Tel Nof air bases. That's Tehran's claim, not corroborated here, and it's a different category from the Mashhad strike, which both sides confirm.
So the petrochemical hit we can stand on, the airbase claim we can't. Either way, Trump asked Israel to hold fire and the strike landed anyway. That tells you exactly how much his very close to a deal line is worth this morning.
Keep this piece straight. The April 8th ceasefire held 2 months. As of today, with mutual territorial strikes, it didn't.
If you have feedback, story ideas, or a correction for Iran War Daily, send us a note at iranwardaily@lanternpodcasts.com. We read every message, and it helps sharpen the briefing. You'll find links to all the reporting behind today's stories in the show notes. If one thread especially caught your ear, that's the place to dig in further. That's Iran War Daily for today. This is a Lantern podcast.